There was a time when Salman Khan's films weren't working at the box office, but there was the resurgence of Salman Khan with Dabangg, a film that has revolutionized Indian cinema and rewritten rules for commercial Indian films. And the man behind, the brainchild actually, behind the film is sitting with me for a conversation only on Bollywood Bubble powered by Bollycoin. Welcoming Arbaaz Khan in conversation with me. Thank you so much for doing this. How have you been?
Thank you. And you give me the sole credit of Dabangg. That's not true.
No, but yes, the whole idea behind it.
Yeah. It was initiated, with a very interesting meeting with Abhinav. He had come to me for a film where he wanted me to act in it. And it was Dabangg basically, but it was a very different Dabangg.
It was a darker.
It was a different Dabangg, let's put it that way. And I kind of liked it at that point in time, and I had no visions of even wanting to be a producer. So when I asked him, I said, "You want to do this film with who?" He said, "I want to do this film with you." And he named one or two other actors. And my role was obviously Makhi's role only because he had seen me in Jaane Tu Ye Jaane Na, and he thought that my potential as a comic actor had not been explored. So he says, "For sure, I want you to do this role." And I said, "Why not Chulbul Pandey?" He said, No. Chulbul Pandey, I want looking for somebody else. I said, "Okay, fine." I said, "Who's producing this film?" He says, "I've got one or two people who are looking into it, but they're saying, get your cast, get your budget, then only we will kind of fast track this movie." I don't know what happened to me. And I said, "Why don't I produce this film?" And he looked at me and he says, "Yeah, you can." Then I got into this whole thing about how long will it take to make this movie and what will be the budget of the film. And then I said, "Okay, fine, give me 2 days." I took this film to Salman, just the idea and the script and the characters, and I said, "Salman, this is the kind of subject that I have heard. Of course, it's a little different because if you do it, we'll have to make a few changes in it. But this is the character and this is the premise and this is the plot and this is what I think might work." And I don't know, maybe it's Salman's experience or, just the fact that he's done so much that he didn't need to really hear the whole script. He says, "I like this character, let's do this film." And that's how the movie kind of got initiated. Of course, once he said yes, Abhinav and me had to sit on a lot of things, because there were no songs in the film at that point in time. There was no...
But you have to commercialize the whole thing.
A lot, because once you have Salman, you can have a good premise, but yet you need to make it for his audience and all of that. So that went into reworking, so that took about a year because I used to keep discussing with him. And there was to be this little resistance at time. How can we let go of this? And I said, "No, we have to make a change here. We'll have to add this here. We have to do that." And finally he relented and, he made those changes and we finally had this one script ready and then we were ready to shoot. And that was the beginning of Dabangg.
When you talk about skepticism and apprehensions, Dabangg was the resurgence of Salman Khan in a lot of ways, After that, he's never delivered a film which has done less than 100 crore at the box office. But at that point, when you are new into production and you have completely changed the whole feel and the theme of the movie, there's a lot of pressure on the film to deliver, on you especially. Did you feel that when the movie was, today when films release of Salman sir, everybody knows that it will hit a certain number. That time it was not the case. So was there any pressure that you used to feel on the Friday or the Thursday night?
See, by the time we were shooting the movie, we knew we were doing something nice.
Right, and magical, yeah. It was
nice,
magical
something
word,
good was happening. If you had asked me at that point in time, would it end up being the second biggest hit in the history of Indian cinema? Maybe not, I wouldn't be able to make that prediction. Probably nobody would. But to have that much faith that what was his last film, I guess, wanted, and it would probably match that and do better than that, which was a 40 crore all India hit, there we were already confident that we'll do that. But it ended up being a 145 crore film. So there, you got my point. So we had कि भाई मालूम पड़ता है कि कोई चीज़ अच्छी बन रही है. अब उसको right, plus we knew we were coming 1 year after his last release. We knew we were coming on an Eid. Salman had already grown in stature as an actor.
Absolutely.
So there were a lot of factors that we knew that we were in a good space. But it was 3x of what we got, right? So that's a great part of it.
But when it came to you as Chulbul Pandey, the character, how much of that Chulbul Pandey was there in the actual Chulbul Pandey that we see on screen?
A lot of what was written was there. There was also a lot of rewriting on that, but the
because it is more fun, right? Yeah.
So the interpretation of of, like, let's just say, had that character been played by somebody else, it would have been played differently. When Salman played it, he brought in his own nuances, his own style. You know, things like putting that chashma at the back, which became iconic, was never there. Certain dialogues that he spoke were never ever written. Salman said those dialogues. He brought it into his own places, that how he emoted in that song, those movements that he did, that they were never choreographed, they were left for him to do, and they became iconic.
Yeah,
so
true.
So the thing is that as an actor, he knew, okay, fine, this character, the belt movement was his. So he contributed as an actor too in many, many places. So it's a film, when it works on multiple levels and multiple contributions from a lot of people, even if they are very small and minute, you know. You cannot deny the fact that Dabangg had great music.
Absolutely.
Mast Mast Do Nain and Munni Badnaam Hui, and people have contributed in that. You can't deny that it had great action. Somebody else has come and done the action and gone. You cannot deny that the director did a great job on the film. As a producer, whatever was required, even we didn't even think what kind of money we were going to make. We were probably losing money when we were making the film. We didn't, I mean to say, the market of Salman was probably lesser than what we had spent and what we were going to release the film. The film was probably made to set me up as a producer and say, okay, fine, not only will he become a producer, he'll end up making some money. But that was not the case when we released the film. Both of us did not make money while making the movie. We made money after the movie was a success. That's when I could end up paying Salman his price. So it was just passion. कि भाई बनाते picture, देखेंगे क्या होगा.
What was the initial budget that you had put in, and what was the eventual budget?
I think the initial budget was, Salman's market around that time honestly was, I mean to say, we had 30 crores to make the movie. We ended up making the film in 49 crores. With everything, print, publicity and all that. So there was nobody really making the money. Okay. So there was no money on the table coming.
Yeah.
So when the movie became a hit, it was
a blockbuster. It's an all-time
so
blockbuster.
Then whatever we were expecting all came back, all the accolades came, the money came, and then of course Dabangg 2 came, and then followed it up with 3, and it became a franchise that made money.
You know, Dabangg, like you said, that there are so many iconic things. If you remember Dabangg, like you remember a movie by its dialogues, its characters. आज भी लोग यूज करते हैं वो डायलॉग्स. तो मुझे जानना है कि इसमें से कौन से ऐसे डायलॉग्स हैं जो स्क्रिप्ट में नहीं था, एंड हु केम अप विद दोस डायलॉग्स, लाइक इम्प्रॉम्प्टू.
There were many such things.
थप्पड़ से डर नहीं लगता was there in the
script.
Okay.
थप्पड़ से डर नहीं लगता was there in the script. छेदी सिंह हम तुम में इतने छेद करेंगे wasn't there. See, as an actor, Salman was thinking of how he could do things. See, there are a lot of things that happened with Salman were his contributions. Many. I can't even recollect those things. Kamal karte ho Pandey ji. This is his. This was not there in the script.
स्वागत नहीं करोगे आप.
That is Salman's. That is in Dabangg 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying we're talking about how I thought we were talking about the first one and how, but that was in 2. So he's done that, and it's great because once an actor understands his role, he realizes that he's not going to say the lines only because they've been written. He's got to be comfortable with those lines. He's got to be, he should be able to contribute. And it's not just anybody, it's Salman. He knows his audience. True. He knows his strengths. He knows what he can carry off. So it's okay not to get rigid on the fact and say, no, this is the scene that was written and the writers have thought long and hard on it. So you better say this and all. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And look at who were there on board to even resist that. It was me. I mean, to say I was, I didn't have that experience. So for me to turn, I was younger brother to him. It was so maybe a big filmmaker who's rigid can say, no, Salman, don't do that. And some people have done that in the past. Some have been happy doing it. Some have regretted doing that because sometimes you stop an actor, you actually restrict him from exploring.
True.
So there have been times where maybe Salman's certain lines and certain things have gone flat also. Fair enough. Not every time that he has said something or changed something has worked. But the times that he's done it, more often than not, they've worked.
Absolutely.
So we take that chance with him and they don't come very thick and fast. It's not as though every day he sits and says, I want this change, I want that change, I want to change this dialogue. No. He'll hear the dialogue, he'll like it, what he likes he'll say, what he doesn't like he'll say, can I change this, can I add that? And we agree on that and we allow him to do it and he does it. And
but were there any moments where you disagreed on something? And that
there have been, and some of them he's listened to, some of them he's not listened, and there are also times when he has not listened, he has been right.
Yeah.
Like let's just say that this whole Dabangg song, it was the last song that we shot, okay, and it so happened that we had recorded the song and we wanted to use it more as a background song. This is what the director and me had already decided. And Salman asked me, he says, what about that title song? So both of us had said that we had designed it in such a way that whenever a moment happens, we're going to use it as a theme. Hudu hudu dabang 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 dabang.
Yeah.
And use it whenever there's an action scene or there's a moment or whatever. He says, why don't you shoot this as a song? So we were like, but we had not thought about it that way. So he says, do that. So and I said, but in our schedule, we don't have the time to shoot it individually as a song. Means we have to prepare, we have to call the choreographer, we're already on an outdoor. He says, do it. You won't believe it. Within a matter of like say 2-3 days, we got in touch with Ganesh Acharya. We sent him the song, we told him the thing, we told him to come over. He choreographed it. We shot that in like 3 days. It was never meant to be shot that way. No, that was his contribution. Song was already there. It's how to use the song was his thing. And that's the great part of it.
And the hook step became iconic.
Even in Munni Badnaam, what happened was that how we had thought about it, that Salman comes pretty much towards the end of the song.
Yeah.
And he spoils the party. It's the song between Malaika, Munni and Chedi Singh celebrating his success. And Salman heard the song and he said that it's a big hit, this song. He already said it's a smash hit. He says, but I need to be in the song. So we said, but as of now, what we have seen is that this celebration happens and you like crash to the party. So he says, नहीं भाई मेरे को डालो इस गाने के अंदर. एक hit गाना है और मेरी entry से ऐसा ऐसा हो जाएगा. And we had to rework the song and he was right. And we did that. So you see the song starts with Sonu Sood.
Yeah.
And changes to this thing. And that contribution really worked.
Were there any deleted scenes which you wish were part of the film? Or have you ever thought of releasing them? Because there's a different kind of fan following for Dabangg.
If we were to do that, those scenes would have changed the actual texture of the film and given you a different feel of the film. That's the reason we didn't retain them.
Yeah.
Because they were not really aligned with what this story is.
But what were the scenes?
There were some scenes between with Chulbul and Rajjo, which had taken. There was an equation between, the angst that she had with Makki and all of that. There were certain scenes that would have made a totally different climax and a totally different story.
Yeah.
So we had to be very mindful of how this was going. So I don't want to talk about it because right now also if I talk about it, like say, acha, those elements were there. So there were a few elements that I think very judiciously we removed out of the film when we did that. So the first edit of the film, which seemed like a locked edit, and like इसमें से एक scene नहीं कट सकता, was like 2 hours 43 minutes. And we saw that portion and said, boss, this is too long. This is not going to work. We sat on the edit and made it into a 2 or 3 minute film.
Yeah.
So 40 odd minutes of a final edit was cut and thrown away. It's painful to us also because we've shot for it, we spent money on it. But you have to do what is right for the film. And we did that.
Salim uncle always has his opinions and he puts them very firmly before every movie of yours. When did you show him the film and what was his first reaction? Did he predict that
when we were going for the shoot, we were very late in narrating it because we were still scripting right till the end because Salman had already told us that this is the window in which you can shoot with me.
Yeah.
And we had to change according to Salman's requirements. So Abhinav and me were constantly in touch trying to rewrite the film to wherever those changes were required. And it was not ready for even a narration. So finally, just like 15 days before we were going, and our outdoor was already planned. We had already gone, Wahi was already booked, hotels were booked, locations were booked. We were going to just move in the next 10-15 days over there. We felt the need that chalo dad ko hum script to sunate hain. And dad had his opinion. He made a very, very important change in it. He says, अगर तुम ये plot point को यहाँ change करो नहीं तो तुम्हारी picture में गड़बड़ है. मतलब
Which was that plot point?
It was the case where the mother's death.
Yeah.
And there was I don't want to go into too much of a detail. It was a very, very important factor that probably both Abhinav and me, I think, overlooked or ignored, right? Either one of them. And he said, don't do that. So you don't need to ignore it also, and you don't need to overlook it, because this is not going to work if you're going to do it this way. So then we realized that we got an expert, I mean, some man who's written some of the greatest films of all time, and we have him at our disposal, and probably sitting and just giving us free advice, and it will be foolish for us not to pay heed to it. So then I told Abhinav, listen, we have to do this, and we have to make these changes. He says, abhi kitna kam time mein main kaise karu? Main bola, karo, karna hi padega. And बैठे, ideate किया. तो बहुत, like I said, बहुत से फिल्म जो होती है ना, वो किसके कहने से क्या, बहुत से फर्क पड़ता है.
But जब ready हो गया movie,
अभी एक बड़ा important था is when the film was ready. So we also, if you see, there's a prologue in the film, right?
Yeah.
And the film starts with the characters being built from the prologue.
Yeah.
Right? So Prajapati Pandey, the younger Prajapati Pandey, and then Dimple Kapadia's character, then the two boys, and there were a number of scenes. The film pretty much had almost a 20-minute prologue before Salman's character comes. Now, when we kept repeatedly seeing the film, we realized that in today's time, who's interested in seeing a prologue? Salman Khan की पिक्चर देखने आ रहे हैं पुराने ज़माने का, कि 20 साल के बाद बड़ा हो गया, ये हो गया, कितना हम इसको बता सकते हैं. तो वी वर वेरी माइंडफुल कि यार इसको रखें नहीं रखें. तो वी वर एक्सपेरिमेंटिंग, कभी रखते थे कभी नहीं रखते, अपने खुद के जब एडिट के पोर्शंस के अंदर रिएक्शन देखते थे. वन डे वी रिमूव दैट पोर्शन and I was showing the movie, and I asked Malaika to come to the editing room and have a look at it. And she came and she saw the film and she said, I liked the film, but I didn't understand one thing. I said, why? What happened? She says, what is his angst with his father? So I said, that's because in his childhood and this and that, and we mentioned it and all that. He says, no, I can't understand that. So she saw the film, she just didn't understand because we were starting the film directly with him getting up in the morning and fighting with his father and just giving this information that he's the stepfather. So it's understood that he'll have a problem with him. It's understood that, he'll have a problem with the stepbrother. But the audience doesn't understand that. So as a lay person, she sat and said, so we had to put the prologue back. So this is how small contributions of everybody, because what happens is you tend to become very, you see, it's like you can't laugh at the same joke over and over again.
True.
So same time, when you see your own film, from the writing stage to the changing, to the shooting, to the editing, to multiple viewing, you lose sometimes a objective view of your own film. So when somebody comes from an outside who's not seen much of it, will say, hey, either I don't like it, or I like it, or this should have been there and that. And sometimes you have those provisions, you've removed it, thinking that I got bored of it.
True.
So you put it back because you realize, oh, this is needed. So there also, these are small changes and contributions that make a big difference.
But I don't think most people knew about this. So on that note, we'll move on to the next segment. So it's the Bollycoin presents, this segment has been presented by Bollycoin. I want to know that, did you have any clue about NFTs, what it meant, and what was your first reaction? Because Bollycoin is launching the Dabangg NFTs on 30th of this month. So
if you ask me, did I have any knowledge or not, I didn't have it then. Even today, I think I know very little about it. I keep asking my nephew, okay, boss, you started this thing, tell me more, so that tomorrow if I am asked any question, how am I supposed to answer this? So I guess I'm presuming not just me, a lot of people are in, not in the dark, but I would say a lot of people know very little about cryptos and NFTs and how they're going to go, how they're received, because it's even internationally it's new, I guess. It's not something that's been there forever. So how it plays up here and how it responds here is just sussing up the situation, testing the waters in some time. Let's see how we go. So I do understand a bit of it. It's like a different currency and all of that. Don't ask me too much. Please don't ask. I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm going to put my nephew in it. I am a producer. I have got material. I have provided that material, and my nephew is going to make me understand each time this is what we're going to do with it. And I hope he makes a success out of it and people are happy.
I'm pretty sure he's going to. Because it is a phenomena outside. And I'm happy that he's starting it for India, because in India we don't have too many people indulging in creating NFTs. People buy, but I don't think people are indulging in making a community or building a community for Indians, which is a great thing. And it's not for Indians only, because we have fans worldwide. What was the first reaction when you were told about it?
See, the first thing,
because Dabangg is the first one, if I'm not wrong.
That is the exciting part of it, because see, he has got all of us under him, right? He's got his own parents' production company, he's got Salman's production company, he's got Sohail's production company, he's got my production company, and we've all made films. Each one of us has made films, probably me the least of the lot, but everybody else has made, like Sohail has got a big bank of films, Salman's got a bank of films, my sister Veera's got a bank of films, I've got 4 films as of now. But he or us chose that Dabangg will be the first one to come up with the NFTs and bring it out there is a great thing. So there's a little bit of a personal pride moment for me, even though we are all together. That, it's my film kind of. So it's great, and if we can set the ball rolling with this and we can get everybody excited about this, it'll be great.
So it's a piece of digital art which is also unique in its own ways.
Right.
Do you own any of it?
See, as a producer, I own the IP of the film.
Not yours. I'm saying anything apart from this, like anybody else's NFTs, or would you?
No, not yet. No, I don't. I have not really been initiated into this now, and probably through our own stuff that maybe, for all you know, I might end up buying my own NFT. One of them maybe. Like, I want to keep it, but no, I guess it's nice to. Maybe this will make me understand the market more. Understand if I was really want to pick up something iconic on some other films, on something else that I might want to keep. Yeah, why not?
Which is your favorite poster, or if that you would want that poster to be made into an NFT?
There's a picture of Salman standing with a gun, which is a low angle shot.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah.
Because that is different from the kind of stuff that people were doing at that point in time in terms of present, image that comes out for promotion of your film.
But how excited are you that these NFTs are getting launched?
I'm very excited. I think, with all excitement, there is always this little, and confidence. There's a little bit of nervousness, I guess, with everything when it's new, and that's a good thing. That anxiety or that nervousness is good, and but the way my nephew and his team have worked on all of this, I think this is being done very professionally, and we are now just excited, waiting.
So it's a proud moment for the family, and Ayaan is launching the NFTs with Dabangg, which is also one of the most loved films of the last decade, and I think generations. Like I said, it spans across generation, the love, the adulation. So I would want you actually to sign one poster of Dabangg, which will be used as one of the NFTs. So, and make it special for all the fans across the globe who have loved and who continue to love Dabangg. So yeah, without further ado, I would like you to do the honors. So you can show them the poster if you want.
The poster is here.
This is your favorite poster, like you said.
Yes, this is my favorite poster. Okay. And it's time to sign. Yeah.
Be Dabangg, love Arbaaz Khan. Thank you, Arbaaz, for doing this with us. It was a lovely chat with you. You are always lovely, and I hope that these NFTs reach fans across the globe, and because it's a community that's waiting for these. So thank you for this.
Thank you.